Trump is coming to Saudi Arabia to do business economically and militarily. That, along with the crisis in Yemen and Syria, are going to be his main focus with Saudi King Salman bin Abdul Aziz and Gulf Cooperation Council leaders.
He wants to revive, to uplift the traditional alliances which were weakened during the Obama administration. And one basic alliance is the American Saudi, the American Gulf, the American Arab relations.
On Sunday, however, the U.S. president is going to attend the Arab Islamic American Summit. Dozens of leaders have been invited as Trump wants to get the Islamic world on board his developing Middle East policy.
Two objectives. One, I think there is a general consensus on, which is terrorism. There is no disagreement about that. But the second objective U.S. tries to do is to mobilize these countries against Iran. And on this issue, there is no as much consensus.
Up until now, Donald Trump's administration couldn't put precise visions for the regional conflicts in the Middle East. He talks about fighting terrorism as a concept, but how to fight or to enhance this fight. The U.S. administration has no plans. Concerning Iran's nuclear deal, Trump used to have a clear stance. Now it's obvious that there are divisions within his administration.
But even if Trump comes with a clear objective on Middle Eastern files, analysts doubt that the meeting with the Islamic countries would come up with concrete solutions.
Meetings which gather a large number of leaders must be looked at with its symbolic perspective. It's very common that in these meetings, no decisive decisions are taken. It's mainly an opportunity to find common grounds and build trust between the U.S., Arab, and Islamic states.
Trump is reportedly going to recommend that Arab states would create an Arab NATO to replace the initiative of the Arab League's joint military forces that has been fading out lately. Meeting leaders of the Islamic countries definitely change a lot of perspective that people in Islamic countries have developed for Trump. Many here see it as a positive step. However, for a man who seems to change his opinions quickly, hopes are Muslims won't see a different version of the U.S. president once he leaves for Israel. Adel El Mahrouky, CGTN, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Well, let's get to the very latest now from Riyadh. I'm joined by CGTN's Adel EL Mahrouky. Adel, just in terms of the latest on the summit, how are deliberations in the summit likely to impact pressing issues in the Middle East?
Well, there are lots of coordination that has been going on within the Arab League framework and within the Islamic Cooperation Conference in general, and that is to put sort of effort to unify their efforts in fighting common threats. One of the major common threats that the entire Islamic world suffers from, and this is where Trump will be coming and to discuss the same issue, is the threat of extremist Islamic ideologies in general, which they hope to address. It's one of the key issues that Islamic countries need, along with, of course, cooperation with the United States and other major world powers, is to address the issue and try to put a platform to end the source of terrorism in general, which is the recruiting through the ideologies itself. So this is one of the major cooperation fields. Again, when it comes to this region, regional crises are always on top. It's, whether it's in Libya, Yemen, Syria, Iraq, coordination with also regional powers. The U.S. is coming here to give support to Gulf countries who are involved in at least directly, at least in Yemen, and indirectly in Syria, Iraq, and other conflicts as well. So there needs to be coordination and to clear out these differences, whether with the U.S. or not, but the gathering itself is still significant.
Well, indeed, we also know that a number of African leaders will be attending the meeting. What specific issues pertaining to the African continent as a whole do you think might be raised and possibly addressed at the summit?
Well, again, when when we talk about Africa, terrorism is still the main threat, but this time the focus will be on Libya, and this is where there is a necessity to discuss the Libyan crisis with Donald Trump. The U.S. administration, since he took office, has not announced any clear vision on Libya, or even where does it stand from Libya. Will it give support to the Eastern government and General Khalifa Haftar, who seems to have unified the army forces of the Libyan National Army and maintain quite strong control over the territories under his management, or will he continue what Barack Obama did and move along with the western side and try to empower what seems have been a long time with no significant effort to empower Faiz al-Sarraj, who within Tripoli himself he did not even manage to keep Tripoli united. He has divisions from factions that have not been able to control it. Now, because of Libya and instability there, it has been quite a fertile land for recruitment and training of terrorists, and from there, many countries in the Africa, Sahara and Libya neighbor have been suffering from the radical ideologies and the terrorist organizations that have been quite active there. So this is one of the few points that actually needs Trump to be on board with him and to have a clear definition where he will stand, so that African countries could know how will they deal with this crisis.
Indeed, I guess this summit will give us the most definitive view yet of U.S. policy towards security issues in both the Middle East and Africa. Thanks very much, Adel EL Mahrouky, joining us there live from Riyadh.